Wow. Okay, fair enough. Man, if I had a nickel every time it was a Sunday, it'd still be a Sunday, you know. Buenos dias. Hola, muchachos and muchachas. We're here on a Sunday morning. It's been a cool minute. It's November the 16th. That means half the year, month is here, and then the rest of the year is like creeping up, and it's gonna be real done. It's gonna be super real. Until then, still got like at least if you're American. I'm not really too sure how it works out around the universe, but got a few celebrations that you can still enjoy. Realize maybe it's not the best time to be celebrating in the universe, but at the same time, it's the little things that makes it feel worth fighting for. And in vague terms. And the closest to heaven. Keep that in mind. It's not that angsty. Yeah, honestly. Especially thinking about where half of these celebrations come from is very interesting to think about. But I come from a place where like scriptures and written stuff was like the law or whatever. And while there is a place for respect, honor, courage, I also believe that there needs to be a sense of understanding for every new generation that pops up. Because our time is our time. Their time is their time. But the fact that we get to share time is not something to bicker about. And when it's time to let go and to try to trust in the future and whatever that brings, there has to be a middle point, And I believe deep inside that we've never been able to find that point. We either take advantage of it or we find ways to not make it not worth enough or what it's worth. But recently, in the universe, I've been seeing people jump out there, do exciting things, get up there and talk, and that, it reminds you of just how insignificant everything could be, but you really understanding what it means and just letting it be its thing, just letting it breathe, You never know what you're gonna get, and that's scary. Obviously, we're looking at the internet, we're looking at AI, but just because it's different, just because it's new, it's understanding, doesn't mean like it's the worst thing in the universe. At least that's an opinion I have. Especially after watching Frankenstein last night by Guillermo del Toro. Good shit, baby. But we're not here to talk about movies. Or are we? Because I don't want the world to see me. Because I don't think that they'd understand. Everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. Everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. just want you to know what I have. A little birdie once told me. Good times. Nicki Nacho. Something even not so great. Okay, I got this. We got this, right? Let's have some fun. It's a fun day. Fun day. I'm excited to just strum. Lay where you're laying, don't make a sound. I know they're watching. They're watching all the commotion. The kitties like play. It has people talking. We're talking. Your sex is on fire. Down at the gully, the break of the day. And when I'm driving, soft lips are open, the knuckles are pale. Feels like you're dying. You're dying. Your sex is fire. Concerned with what's to transpire. Oh, but as a fever rattling the bones, I can just taste it. Just taste it. If not forever, it's just tonight. Or we're still the greatest. The greatest. And your sex is on fire. And your sex is on fire. Concerned with what's to transpire. And your sex is on fire. Concerned with what's to transpire. Nice. I like you on the crackles like that. It's fun, right? All right. But something less fun. At least for a stumbling fool. No cable. Beautiful. Here we go. Well, now in Maribon, I've seen you frown. It's like looking down the barrel of a gun and it goes off. And now come all the words, and there's a very pleasant side to you. I thought I much prefer that one is laughs and jokes around. Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up, on my way. Oh, but it's right here to remember on a day like today when you're argumentative. You got the face, son. Well, now then, Marty Bum, it's trouble again. I thought as much, cause you turned out the silent over there. Pulling that silent disappointment face, the one that I can bear. Well, can we laugh and joke around? Remembers cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up and away. Oh, but it's right here to remember on a day like today when you're all argumentative and you got the face, son. And yeah, I'm sorry I was late, that I missed the train and then traffic was a stay. And I can't be arsed to carry on this debate that reoccurs. Oh, when you say I don't care, but of course I do, I clearly do. So laugh and joke around. Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah. Got things off the ground and it was up and away. But it is right here to remember that on day like that today, and it was argumentative. You got the face wrong. That's a song about making pancakes. Hey. 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 It's Sunday. And it's a fun day. So, we're going to put down the volume. Gonna flip over to the flip. Love that the Stream Deck has not calibrated. But hey, it's time to learn. Yeah, education, man. Good stuff. Because Labubu is getting a movie. Because, come on. It's a little Demon Takeover. This is by Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. Second, those devilish monsters took off. We should have known. Predictably, one has. Sony Pictures, of course, Sony has first dibs on everything, has obtained the rights to make a Labubu film, according to HR. The field deal was just signed this week. Thus far, it doesn't have anyone attached to it. Producer, director, writer, actors. It's also not clear yet whether it'll be live action or animated. They just want boo-boos and Labubu. You've somehow missed the craze. Labubu are a line of stuffed toys that look like level children instead of having your own. They were created by Hong Kong-born artist Kassing Lung, who was raised in the Netherlands, influenced by Nordic folklore in their creation. Though originally produced by How to Work, when it first came out in 2015, they were later sold by Chinese retailer Pop Mart and gained notoriety. They've seen a recent explosion around the globe after Lisa, a member of the K-pop group Blackpink, not the Lisa, rock queen goddess of J-rock, yes. And Labubu Keychain was in their bag last year. From there, they exploded across Asia and made their way west, particularly gaining popularity as collectible thanks to being sold in blind boxes. Wow, talk about a trendsetter. So, did Juju know about Labubu? I did not know that that's how it exploded. I think I do remember the moment they mentioned Lisa having Labubu, but I didn't know that was like the epicenter where everything blew up from. So, I'm learning things here too. Labubu the Yuyu. And so again, pop culture gonna be pop culture. Obviously, that's one of the things you can't really decide what's gonna be the next big thing unless kind of whatever. But something like this to actually happen and really, really just implode and just become what it is today, so much that Sony Pictures, who have spent millions on movies, both anime and animated features, is now going around being like, you know what, Labubu's, or honestly, whatever it becomes the next big sensation. I think the latest one I've heard is not latest, but is the one I could see could be coming another potato-ness like this would be the is it the Italian brain rot or whatever like that, and it's like cappuccino salarino, I don't know, weird names like that, or just like a universe animated. I can completely see. Obviously, this is going to be an animated film. You're going to see Labubus running around. It's going to be like Trolls the movie, but Labubu the movie. And we're all going to have to get used to the idea that these things and whatever cappuccino assassino is going to be in the future. So keep that in mind. Your kids are in danger by little boo-boos. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the other side note to put on this. The fact that maybe perhaps people just aren't having kids anymore. That something like a Labubu is enough to supplement the idea of like spending money on a child. And I've watched videos about like how low-key Labubus represent a recession. And honestly, I'm no one to talk smack. You're talking to a guy who spends money on Fortnite shit. So like I'm just as bad, but something to keep an eye out. The fact that something like that can still be profited and made into a movie really makes me think about interesting things, and that's gonna be something that I have to think about over the weekend. But hey, who knew Labubu was here for you. That's not the only thing that's here and to go. That's right, baby. Death Stranding franchise gets an anime series in 2027. This is Rafael Antonio Pineda over at Anime News Network. Kojima Productions unveiled a new anime series based on the universe Death Stranding, titled Death Stranding Isolations. Kojima Productions unveiled the visual staff on 2017. The debut date on Disney Plus. Ew. The anime will have an original story. Of course it will. Sorry, buddy. Wait, what? Takayuki Sano, okay, Attack on Titan stuff, anime director, and Bullet Bill, EA Productions, character Wonderland, Kojima's producer. Site describes series as: once there was an explosion, lonesome souls of the dead manifest in the physical world. Reaching souls, however, standing blah, blah, blah. Based on the video game part of the Mind and Cadillo, this series, original ideas, somewhere in North America, just as Sam Bridge walks out to the continent in order to save America. The someones are also trying to deal with their isolation in their own way. An old man trying to realize salvation through ways outside of connection, advocated by Bridges, a female warrior who tries to kickstart a world of constant fighting, and boy with a grudge against Bridges, a girl who embraces loneliness. Wow. On the precipice, on the end of humanity and the end of the world, fate's hopes converge as another story of Death Stranding begins. And now comes another explosion. Kaboom. Kojima reported in an interview with Vogue that Death Stranding animation was now in the works. The franchise is inspiring a separate animation feature film working title Death Stranding Mosquito. This guy directing the project, ABC Animation Studio. Wow. Kojima Productions and the line mindless previously announced that Aaron Kuzuoloki, raised by wolves, is writing the project script. Animation project will tell an original story. Cool. Game is inspiring yet another separate film adaptation. Hammerstone Studios, Barbarian Bill, Ted Faith, the music. This is the A24 people. Director, this sets writing direct film. Lars Square Peg production can also producing film. Original Death Stranding game is shipped for PlayStation 4 and launched PC and blah blah blah. COVID 2020 director's cut. PlayStation 2. Troy Baker. Cast for the game includes Norman Reedus, Leia Sedux, Troy Baker, George Miller, and Faith Atkin, Ellie Fanning, and all these people. Very nice. So we know, we've known, Death Stranding is like here to stay, I guess, is the best way to put it. Because at first getting a movie actually adaptation, and especially pronounced by A24, in my brain was something that really should have happened after the anime. But we're at a very interesting place, especially with Kojima like being the movie guy, quote unquote, that he is. I guess came out of the door swinging and was able to get a title or a deal done with this. The question that I have is, where are we with that film? Because that was announced a couple months, years ago, and we're like, we still don't know anything, which is fine. I get it, but at the same time, do we got it? It makes me feel like we're. It's great that we're including video games in the Hollywood spectrum, which, you know, to be honest, has been a thing for a while now. However, it also feels like we're also starting to bring over like the video game production potato-ness that comes with video games, in terms of like, oh yeah, we got plans to make this video game. All right, where's the game? We got plans to make this video game. What? So it's one of those things that it's gonna be fine. It's gonna come out. It's gonna be good. We hope it's gonna be good. Actually, it should be good, because Hideo Kojima probably wouldn't release it unless it was gonna be good. However, I don't know. I just feel like we need to keep our finger on the pulse for this one, because this feels great. This feels manageable. I think we can get away with this in terms of getting a good team together and making it happen. You got Zero Suit Samus right here ready to go, and you got this guy from, I think he was the guy from what's his movie? The Netflix show Arcane, the cool dude that goes back in time. Yeah, hell yeah, that's the homie. But I guess I'm looking forward to this. I have not finished Death Stranding, the first one. Started it, got bored. It is what it is. Death Stranding 2, I didn't even want to get into it until I finished the first one or whatever, and just let that do its own thing. Probably look into it when it's on sale or whatever. But a Death Stranding anime, I could think about. Disney Plus, someone pays for our Disney Plus, so I'm cool with that. And I don't know if that's gonna be. I honestly thought the movie was gonna be what gets me into the series, but maybe we watch the anime, then the movie, then we play the game, then we get frustrated, then we jump into the second game. Who knows? Any way the wind blows. But yeah, that's where that stands. It just feels like Cyberpunk 2077 happened. And with Cyberpunk, you had Trigger at Studios, which, like, real talk, that is the guys. So when they were attached to that project, I lost my shit and I was about it. I don't know who these people are. It's all good. Whatever studio they're going to produce, it's all good. I'm just curious to see what they do with it. So Kojima says he's the executive producer. We have to wait and see what his projects look like. So I'm curious. I'm excited. I think he's got something like animation in the bag. It's the movie itself that I'm curious about, because that takes a lot more, hands-on approach, and we'll see what happens with that. But hey, looking forward to whatever happens in that universe / our universe, and also this universe. Because epic 4-hour cut of Kill Bill gets new trailer, a nationwide theatrical release, and Le Funat collaboration. Are you ready for the whole bloody affair? It's by Lex Briscuso. Lex Briscuso. Very nice. Over at IGN. Quote, major movie news incoming. Tarantino's Kill Bill is going to finally be released as one film. And the new version, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, now has a brand spanking new trailer. The Whole Bloody Affair reframes films, originally as Volume 1, Volume 2, as one mega epic, which is how Tarantino originally envisioned the story and how he originally wanted to release it. The new version of the films promises to be unrated and uncut, and will feature new, never-before-seen footage, not included in the original release. Noise. Some of the new footage is brand new in anime sequence. Additionally, it looks like Tarantino has decided to change the black and white footage during the Crazy 88 sequence to color, which will be exciting to watch anew considering the immense gore during the section of that film. Yep. Plus, the upcoming cut and also got a sick new poster which bathes Uma Thurman, the bride, in white and sees her brandish her legendary Hattori Hanzo sword against her face. That's it, huh? Oh, it's so sick. Woo! Ooh, that's so sick. Oh crap, in 70mm? Huge! We'll talk about that in a few. That all said, the whole bloody affair is entirely new, despite how exciting it is for the national audience. Tarantino owns 2 beloved movie theaters in Los Angeles, the New Beverly's and the Vista, where he has screened and his preferred cut of Kill Bill over the years. Nice. In fact, he most recently did a run of the cut over the summer, and believe it or not, the one film cut clocks in at over 4 hours long, which confirms that it's by far Tarantino's longest film thus far. But for the folks who didn't live in Los Angeles, this is a major opportunity to see the filmmaker's intended cut. Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm into that. Interestingly enough, here's a little tease you may have missed in a new trailer, and it's for all the gamers who are Tarantino fans. There's an incredibly short of a lead Beatrix Kiddo's ride, the Pussy Wagon, but it's not actually from the film. It's from Fortnite, which will soon boast a big collab with Tarantino to support the theatrical release of the cut. They changed the name of the truck to a bit to comply with the general PG rated of the nature of the game, but will make an appearance nonetheless. Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair will hit theaters nationwide on December 5th, clocks in at 281 minutes, including a 15-minute intermission. Let's go. That is crazy cool, man. And that poster is like legendary. That's sick, dude. I need that. Okay, where do we go from here? Numero uno. Let's kill freaking Bill, bro. It's one of the greatest, like, I don't know. It's Tarantino is pretty goated, you know, he gets pretty up there. But Kill Bill, especially being my introduction to the universe, is one of the most goated things, you know, not understanding that it's basically the Lady Sayuki, but, you know, as Kill Bill is very interesting. And then being able to watch all those samurai films over at the Alamo, whatever, that place, and kind of get understanding how Tarantino must have felt watching this and then being like, yeah, I'm gonna make this American, but you know, it's gonna be cool this time. And yeah, that was interesting. So now to see everything come full circle, I'm pretty sure somebody talked to somebody at this point, but coming full circle to see Tarantino be like, all right, let's release the actual the cut, 4 hours long. It's one of those things that's gonna be a moment. It's gonna bring all the people who are fans of Tarantino into the theaters. That's awesome. And it's gonna be 4 hours, so you're gonna have a lot of time to hang out with each other. You're gonna have 15 minutes of intermission, so that's gonna be super cool. And just the idea, man, it's like a remake almost, without like going through so much, but also I don't know, nostalgia, I guess. But to top it all off, you're gonna add all this crap to Fortnite. Which makes me go like, bruh, this sword right here, that's gonna be a pickaxe collectible, and you already know. I don't know, man. It's stupid. I hate this universe. But at least you're not gotching. You know what I mean? That's at the end of the day. Let's just be thankful for that. And finally, which is one of my exciting moments, is that 70mm and 35mm means that they're going to have specific screenings with specific movie theaters in the area. I'm from Los Angeles, so I'm very lucky to be able to actually access the 70mm IMAX theater. So that's going to be my fun moment to go out there and hang out with that. So, yeah, December 5th. Very excited. Very, very exciting. Gonna be there. Hell yeah. And Fortnite, we'll see what happens. But excited. Very cool. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I never thought we'd see it come back again, but for it to come back this cool and like it feels like it's gonna have like a big wave. We'll see. Exciting. Yeah. So like what? But not as exciting as hearing Yuki Huano. Something like that. Or that one opening that has no one screaming. Attack on Titan concert revealed 2026 US tour dates. It is by Adriana Hazra over at Anime News Network. Concert for Attack on Titan franchise, 18 locations, February through March. Staff of Attack on Titan Beyond the Worlds World Tour announced Friday to United States dates for 2026. These are all the tours below: Florida, North Carolina, DC, District Capital, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, yeah, Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Sugarland. Hey, yo. Texas, Austin. Colorado, Denver, the place I wanted to live. Phoenix, Arizona. Sacramento, California. Portland, Oregon. Oh, are you serious? Damn. Portland, Oregon. Salt Lake City, Utah. So we're hit 23 cities in November, spanning North America, Europe, and Asia, and Oceania. Launched the original Attack on Titan manga in Beastos's manga series. The first television series premiered in 2023. Yeah, we too have an episode talking about Attack on Titan, and it's a big impact that just went up actually. So please go check that out. The idea of how Attack on Titan really popped in at 2013 and started airing at Netflix and kind of became this big wave of potato-ness. But cool. October 30th, 2021. Final chapters, parts 1 and 2, Japan single episodes. Attack on Movie, The Last Attack, compilation, final season. The final chapters open in November 2024 for 3-week limited edition in Japanese theaters and American theaters. I saw in theaters. So there's that. We thought the Attack on Titan first impact was over. Well, I guess we still have a long ways to go, which is fine, you know. I don't really know who's like super into Attack on Titan. Apparently these 18 locations are, and I don't know what's up with this guy, but that's fine. Wasn't really planning on going to watch Attack on Titan, but I get it. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, okay, we'll see what happens there. That's strange though. That's all I want to say. Anyways, North California, you guys have fun out there screaming your heads off with the Roar Titan. So, moving on to something that's even more exciting. Super Mario Galaxy movie is supposedly be voiced by Brie Larson. I think I know who that is, but I don't want to draw any conclusions yet. And Bowser Jr. joins the cast, voiced by Benny Safdie. It's by Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. This morning's Super Mario Galaxy Nintendo Direct, we were told who would be voicing both Rosalina and the new character Bowser Jr. Rosalina will be voiced by Brie Larson, while Benny Safdie is Bowser Jr. Direct opened with the first ever full trailer of the film. Trailer opens with Bowser, who's taken up painting since he's defeated by the Mario Brothers' first film. It's revealed that he's been living in a model castle inside Peach's castle ever since he shrunk down from eating a mini mushroom, and particularly he's still obsessed with Peach. Wow. When we then get a number of scenes from the rest of the film, there's a huge star shower at Peach's castle. I'm just gonna say we just watched the trailer if you can. Bowser Jr. is here to rescue Bowser and fooling his paintbrush from Super Mario Sunshine. Wow. It's unclear how this plot's going to sync up with whatever's going on with Rosalina. We also see a brief recently fly off a giant mech using her magical powers. Nice. Fortunately for those who were hoping to see Yoshi in this one, he didn't make an appearance in now. Wow. Rude. During the trailer, we learned that Illumination is just weeks away from completing animation on the film, which is set to release on April 3rd, 2026, in US April 24th in Japan. We've been told it will feature some Nintendo characters that are really deep cuts, though so far we haven't seen who any of those might be. Fans are speculating that the plot might finally confirm a long-held theory around Peach and Rosalina origins, but ultimately we're not sure exactly how closely the story will follow any of the Mario games, including Galaxy or Galaxy 2. Wish. Safdie and Larson will join the cast in the first movie. Pratt as Mario, Taylor Joy as Peach, I've heard that name in forever, and Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan Key as Toad, and Michael Richardson as Kamek. Alright, very nice. Very calming music, I appreciate it. Alright, head check. Who's excited for this movie? Just great, don't get me wrong, I'm not. It's an interesting build up with this one. Number one, I haven't seen the trailer, so I'm still kind of like in limbo. And I choose to be in limbo at least until after this, because I wanted to get my opinions out before I actually saw anything. But the idea so far of what we've gotten is that this is gonna be the Galaxy movie, which is fine, but the fact that they teased Yoshi at the end of the first movie really had me believing we'd do Super Mario World, the movie, and then finish off with Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, which just feels right. And so I don't really understand why they go so fast into Rosalina's arc. I mean, I guess It makes sense when you see me buying fucking Rosalina plushes from the Nintendo Universal store. But no, it's just the idea that it just feels like we're rushing things. And I don't know why. Sonic the Hedgehog had 3 films, right? And yes, the first Sonic film was not completely great, but it still had a lot to hold up. It held up on its own. Like, it had good vibes, it had a good moment, and at the end of the film, like, you really brought it all together. You're like, oh shit, that is the first fight from Sonic the Hedgehog. And that made it really cool, you know. And then to get that build up to add the trio in the second one, and to finally get Shadow the Hedgehog, is a huge jump, yes, but it was a natural jump because we got Sonic 3 in the second movie and blah 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 blah. Anyways, it felt structured. This just really feels like we're trying to chase a trend or trying to hit a thing, or again, if the Rosalina plushies really sell that much more than, you know, any other character, then it's like a focus group where you're like, oh shoot, release Princess, which again, I appreciate. I do. But at the same time, like, I feel like we could have just done Super Mario World, focused on the Yoshi character, let that Yoshi shine, and go, you know, still have hints of Galaxy, but making that the plot of the third film. And if we don't want to wait that long, I guess I kind of get it. At the same, deals have to be made and all that, but like, it just makes me feel like the end product is not going to be great. The first Mario film really had something to prove, and they got it. They made it happen. Sure, it's not the best film in the universe, but it makes sense, and it clicks, and it's a good time. And like, I'll remember that for when, you know, for a long, long time. But not as much as I remember Sonic the Movie 3, because that's when they got in a motorcycle crash. Yeah. At the same time, it's like, it feels like we're just pissing away this opportunity. And that really sucks, because I think this had something going for it, but them rushing it or doing all this, it'll still sell, it'll still be fine, it'll still be good, like, I'll still be there, but I don't know, man. I feel like we're losing a lot more than just, like, Chef Toad, let's go, from the Universal place, which it's great. I think it's cute. That's a Universal reference. That's great and all. But like, he didn't have to be here if it was at the cost of, you know, like some important ass character that actually made sense or whatever. But, you know, that's just a freaking 30-year-old complaining about a 45-year-old game. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm still looking forward to it. Rosalina, best girl, waifu, and we'll see what happens there. So, moving on to someone who's not just super, he's Superman. Took a second to get there. Superman and Lex Luthor will team up to fight Brainiac and Man of Tomorrow. Report claims. Heads up. Fucking called it. This is by Tom Phillips over at IGN. Fans as expected will form an uneasy alliance to defeat Brainiac in James Gunn's upcoming Man of Tomorrow. Speculation that classic Superman villain Brainiac will be the movie's big bad has been rife among fans ever since Gunn teased a script image on the back of September, showing an anatomical illustration of a brain. Now, the rap states that has confirmed Brainiac is indeed Man of Tomorrow's main focus, reason that Superman and Lex Luthor are forced to team up together. Very nice. Aside from Gunn's prior tease, Brainiac's appearance in Superman's sequel simply makes a lot of sense. The list of classic villains big enough to spark a Superman-Lex alliance was never a long one. An appearance of Brainiac will likely benefit from the character not having appeared in a big Superman movie before. Yep. Frequently depicted as a green-skinned cyborg, Brainiac could easily be seen as a threat to both Superman and Lex, and his alien hunger to dominate the universe is only outmatched by his galaxy brain intellect. Quote, it's a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having to work together, to a certain degree, against a much, much bigger threat, Gunn teased previously. Quote, and it's a lot more complicated than that. It's as much as a Lex movie as it is a Superman movie. He relates to the character of Lex, sadly. I relate to the character of Lex, sadly. Damn. At the time, fans point to Brainiac as a perfect foil for the smart, jealous Luthor, who would likely be unhappy get usurped again. Quote, that's the censor of Lex for me. Gunn continued discussing Luthor's out-of-control jealousy. Quote, 3 years ago, before Superman came along, he was considered the greatest guy in the world. Even with other metahumans and superheroes in the world, And in one fell swoop, this guy comes in wearing a silly costume, dimples, and charming smile, and a great chin. He's forgotten. End quote. Full production, damn, that was pretty deep. Full production of Man of Tomorrow expects to begin in April 2026, ahead of the movie's release in theaters on July 9th, 2027. Well, 1 year to do it? Wow. While we wait for more from Gunn and the rest of the DC team, you can check out everything else we know about. That's what they said. Cool. So yeah, I mean, not much to say, not to do my own horn and all that, but yeah, freaking, just kidding. It made sense. It made sense that we were gonna get to this point. And again, that's some going back to the Mario film universe. Like, to say that the second film introducing Brainiac is a really big jump, because it kind of is, makes sense. That checks out. However, the fact that we've had hundreds of Superman films is enough to be like, okay, well, why don't we just do somebody that's cool, but it hasn't been done yet. And that's the exciting part for me, because it's Le Brainiac, and he doesn't get outmatched. No, it's just a character that feels different, and technological is going to be his whole thing. You see all the little tubes and everything. And I noticed that in the first film, we had that one engineer chick from the Superman movie who had a lot of like this tendril-like effects. So to me, that really felt like it was going to be pre-Brainiac, or we had some kind of like testing of the CGI, which is pretty smart in my opinion. It shows like foresight, and it makes me feel like James Gunn is actually thinking about what he's doing in the universe as he's doing it, rather than just throwing shit together on the board and being like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So hey, say what you will about the guy, but he's actually thinking about things, kind of like Brainiac. But I actually really enjoyed the Brainiac character. As far as it goes for Lex Luthor, this is pretty deep. I didn't really think about it that way. Again, I'm not a huge Superman fan, but if that's how you want to put it, 3 years ago he was like the apex human, and then now he's like, oh shit, or he feels bad because literal alien comes from the universe and takes all the limelight, which I kind of understand, but at the same time, like, isn't the whole point of living to enjoy the new? But hey, I assume we're all gonna have a lot of lessons to learn when Superman Man of Tomorrow hits in July 9th, 2027. Sheesh. It's like a year and a half, my dude. But don't worry about that. You don't have to wait that long. Because, we're gonna jump over. Because, that's right, baby. GTA 6 has been delayed again. How does this impact the rest of the industry? This is Rebecca Valentine over at IGN, stinking with IGN. Grand Theft Auto has been delayed, this time to November 19th, 2026. And while the fan community is reeling in its own way, impacts are not just limited to eager audience. GTA is also juggernaut, with GTA having sold 220 million copies to date. Online still widely popular, spaced month after month, and anticipation for sequel trailer breaking viewership records. Games release as hot as this one. What does moving it a year away mean from everyone else? How would GTA 6's delay impact the wider games industry? As usual, we consulted our favorite panel of industry analysts to get their takes. Let's do it. Delay shape ripples. GTA 6 delay in November 6 also means that behind the scenes, dozens of publishers are now reevaluating their own planned release dates. Analysts point out that there aren't many games with public release dates specifically set for the final 3 months of 2026, but companies, of course, have their own internal plans. Okay. And those plans have been actively shuffling around both GTA 6 delays out of sight in this entire time. That could mean a much thinner slate of game releases at a time that's more normally bustling with games. Head of market analysis at Analytics. Quote, publishers historically avoid launching anything major with several weeks of Rockstar titles. Sadly, GTA now lands squarely in what is usually a packed holiday window. And I can see its typical Q4 blockbuster season look considerably thinner in 2026, especially when it comes to single-player titles. End quote. Director Manu Rosier agrees, pointing out there are major publishers that have already modeled told multiple scenarios that include GTA delay and have plans for where to move their own games instead. Plans that may benefit them in the long run. Title level data shows that 45% of major single player launches since 2021 have landed between August and November. Those late year releases underperformed roughly 20 to 35% compared to February-May launches in their first 3 months of playtime. Quote, that means a shift out of the congested window could benefit GTA and other game launches nearby. Even without release dates set already, there are some games that we can generally count on coming out late this year, such as Call of Duty, EA Sports, and Madden. It's possible that GTA delay causes at least some of them to move out of their usual corner late this year to another date, either earlier or later than usual. Sheesh. Alright. Live server juggernauts like Fortnite and Roblox, which are roads engagement, tug of war. All these games are indeed entertainment and industry at large, will be competing for GTA at time and attention. Both money and time are infinite, so GTA is going to eat up revenue and engagement across the market. Okay. Engagement data shows average monthly playtime across 20 console titles remained this year over year, with live service games according to more than half console playtime. Systems will keep momentum regardless of whether GTA arrives in spring or later 2026. Okay. Not just AAA games that will be impacted. Suggests major publishers will be cautious about making big changes to their own dates to the delays the whole year ago. Real impact will fall on the indies and AA games, which are most sensitive to major launches and likely to feel much bigger effect. Upgrades for the holidays. While there are fewer brand new games coming out this holiday season, analysts are optimistic for sales of hardware. The question has been taking over retailers and publishers about for years now. When GTA launched, there was positive impact of sales, console hardware, and accessories in launch month, but that increment boost was short-lived because sales returned more or less previous baseline. But that did not happen in the holiday window, so I expect positive impact here potentially more profound. It's caused between incremental units of console sold in the holiday quarter worldwide above what would otherwise be expected because of GTA 6. Yes, that's a big rage. It's very difficult to say with any confidence. How much more? Damn, son. Reporting. Okay. PC version was released. Okay. LA disagree with them, pointing to college football launched boasting 25 in Xbox Series sales and UCS last year. GTA 6 is much bigger. Most are on PS5. Huge shares PlayStation monthly active users are still on PS4. GTA 6 will not ship on last gen consoles. Okay. Research director also noted that console sales will be even more backloaded in 2026 than normal. The main thinks there was more than one hardware manufacturer would celebrate generally in terms of launch time and generate the more console sales. Q4 better than Q2. Will this delay the impact GTA sales? No. Literally every analyst I asked said no. GTA 6's delay won't impact its sales, interest, and anticipation. For GTA 6 are on the charts historically unprecedented. According to Pescatella and Rosario Pescatella, added that GTA 6 November release would likely make Q4 2026 the biggest in video game history in terms of US game spending. Grand Theft Auto is such an outlier franchise that when it comes to this stuff, the sky really is the limit because as an outlier, so many people that aren't benchmarks from the reliable forecasts can be generated under impacts. Spoke to analysts, possible impacts. One big one, because turned out controversial, was whether or not GTA 6 delay could also end up delaying the release of next-gen consoles. That's what I'm curious about. Other impacts were a bit more psychological. Elliot pointed that 6 was likely to be a cultural moment where entertainment, internet, and social identity all collided in a very public way. Would it be impossible to ever say how the delay impacted that? The timing of GTA 6 release will inevitably fall into a specific culture time and moment in politics and online culture. And we will both influence and be influenced by what's going on around it. Each major GTA release has shaped how people joke, which music goes viral, how cities are portrayed in art and media, and even how players relate to the idea of rebelling in their daily lives, he said. A launch in holiday 2025 to early mid-2026 would have replaced the cultural shift inside a very specific online environment, one defined by competition between TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, live streaming, and social dominance. That timing would be made for GTA the loudest voice in the conversation, driven by rapid constant remixing or constant viral cycles. In other words, the memes that could have been fun in 2026 instead will take shape in 2027. Wow, that's pretty big. Row Zero also posed a question of impact their angle. GTA 6 delay reinforces growing tension between creative and ambition, retail production realities, and AAA development. Okay. News of historical engagement shows single-player titles retain 40% of active players by week 5. Okay. And for market view, the developed PC and console segment is forecast to reach $85 billion in 2025. Continuing growing. Publisher learning that the industry's biggest risk is in fewer releases, it's announcing too early. Juiced Van Duren, Stern Processor, Superplace newsletter, was thinking about similar lines. Points out the industry has been going through a rough patch for the last few years with massive layoffs, games cancellations, studio closures, price increases, and economic uncertainty. While there's a sense of number of sectors that Six could swoop in and industry saver, and Duren cautions against putting too many hopes on one game, even one as big as GTA 6. I like this guy. There's even a somewhat naive expectation that this one release will reverse the industry's current direction. It won't. After the high comes the hangover, he said. Quote, I realize that many of the industries are looking forward to this undoubtedly pivotal moment. There's even a somewhat naive expectation that one release will reverse the industry's current direction. It won't. Once Take-Two releases the game, and both players and investors enjoy the respective highs, I expect a period of sobriety to follow. In the absence of any similar releases in the near future, especially investors are likely to redeploy their capital elsewhere, thereby lowering the industry's overall valuation. It's clear that GTA 6 delay in November 19th has already made some massive industry-wide, and will continue to do so over the next year as the impacts of both its absence in spring and its impacts in fall are more keenly felt elsewhere. We've covered who wins and loses from delay, in the industry actions news, and what Take-Two stressed and has to say about it. Very nice, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Okay, this is a big one, and like, who would have known? You know what I mean? That it would have made a big difference. Also, it's a big article, but it makes sense. We're looking at this from multiple angles, and the idea that this guy is just going to scooch into the end of November is impressive, because it's essentially going like, yo man, that holiday weekend, this time right now, by this time in 3 days next year, GTA 6 is supposed to launch, and that means something, because again, you have all these investors and all these gamers that are actually invested in this, right? It shows, again, if we're looking at the numbers, just numbers, seeing how the YouTube video trailer has done should reflect on how many people are excited to buy this game. And people are like all excited because they're investing on it and they're gonna have their big payout, and as soon as the game sells and it does all it has to do, they're gonna pull out on their money, which is just the way investment works. So again, going back to this guy, my new favorite homie, is like really sober about the whole idea, and it's true. It's not really gonna do anything for us, save for the few people who actually like invested in this shit just to pull out at the end of it, and that's fine. That's the whole point. Again, at the end of the day, you could either have one frame man, or you can have a nicely polished GTA 6, which I'm sure most of the universe wants and is looking forward to. My thing though really is that it shouldn't be that big of a deal, and I guess I'm being the soggy apple or the wet sock in the group, but like, we shouldn't put our hopes and dreams on this one game specifically. And also at the same time, like, I know that like memes and jokes are gonna be the thing, you know, and it makes sense. Like, GTA satire has always been something that hits the pop culture to its very core, hence it sticks to what our memes become, just how funny things are, and I accept that it will set the tone for certain things. I'm just curious to see like how many people are actually gonna buy the game, and how many people are gonna watch it through the internet. Because specifically where we're at right now, and depending on how much Rockstar decides to charge for this title, I can see a future where essentially, instead of paying for the game, people will just YouTube it. It's kind of weird. It really is. I don't know if it's gonna hit, or if it's gonna be like who's gonna be on this day one. The numbers are gonna be interesting to see. They're gonna be good. I really wish they weren't as good as they're going to be, or at least I hope they're not as good as everyone is expecting them to be, because we need to sober up, and it's gonna be weird doing that, especially if they want to push $100 for a single title. So I think investors need to chill out So I would really like for this game to just be good enough. But in the year of 2026, it's gonna be interesting to see who actually shows up and how many people get into it, because it's gonna be a lot. So make no illusions about that, because illusions are what we do best. In an interesting turn of events, Webtoon to co-produce 10 animated series with Warner Brothers Animation by Won-hee Cho over at Anime News Network. Webtoon announced that it's plans to develop an anime project with Anime Bros Animation collaboration expansion Webtoon pipeline. Okay, Webtoon has become one of the most exciting sources of original storytelling and entertainment today, end quote, said the Young-So Kim, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Global Webtoon. Our creators are building franchises that Gen Z audiences love. Wow. And working with Warner Brothers Animation gives us an incredible opportunity to take those stories further alongside with one of the most respected names in animation. Wow. Sam Register, President of Warner Brothers Animation, Cartoon Network, and Hanna-Barbera, said, quote, bringing together the world-class artistry of Warner Brothers Animation and vibrant storytelling of Webtoons creates an awesome combination of opportunity to build something special. I cannot wait to get started. Initial development slate includes the following titles: Cellar Swordsman, Hardcore Leveling Warrior, Down to Earth, Elfin Warrior, and that. So, okay, something to note, right? We're just looking at the beginnings of what could be something interesting. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers just did something weird with like deleting its either library from HBO or like selling off studios or something like that. So to hear that they're coming around and doing webtoons now is very interesting. Obviously, with the freaking quote of Gen Z audiences love, it almost makes me cringe because now we know what they're looking at. But Warner Brothers, who has, you know, invested in anime, makes sense for them to be, oh, we're gonna get ahead of this whole manhwa situation and produce our own studios. So again, a lot of entertainment people moving in different sections. Like normally we wouldn't expect something like this to happen right away, or like maybe to be so apparent, but hey, this is something that exists in the universe now. So hey, if you're into webtoons and if you really like Batman the Animated Series, well, this is where we're at. Although it could be a lot worse, because Call of Duty Black Ops 2nd campaign is online only with no checkpoints or pausing. I'll kick you if you're idle for too long. Boot off the ground. No manches. Max Scoville. It's by Tom Phillips over at IGN. The story campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has numerous restrictions tied to its always online nature, with no mention of pausing levels. You'll be booted from a game if you idle for too long. As detailed in IGN's just published Call of Duty campaign review, which rates the offering as 6 out of 7, 6 out of 10. Damn. The story experience traditionally offered as a solo fare is more really geared to being played via online co-op, which supports up to 4 people. Downsides of that, however, are that the game offers no AI companions to fill in if you're missing spots on 4-person squad, no checkpoints, no difficulty options, and no need to repeat tasks clearly designed for completion by multiplayers if you're playing solo. Playing solo is borderline tedious due to having to repeat multiple objectives, such as placing C4 and building yourself 4 times rather than splitting them up as intended. A review of notes as one example of this. Set in 2035, Black Ops 7 campaign features a starry cast that includes Gilmore Girls, This Is Us star Milo Vigila, and a returning David Mason alongside Guardians of the Galaxy hero Michael Rooker and Sabrina Teenage Witch actress Kiernan Shipka. Long-term Call of Duty fans may raise their eyebrows at some of the more fantastical sequences presented in mode with trippy visuals and towering bosses, more often seen in something like the Vision's former stable mate Destiny, but it's here that the offering also provides some variety. Dodging giant filing machetes like you've stumbled into Looney Tunes cartoon is a one-off joy as it's taking control of the lavish luxury boat and ramming it inside the building. Harvey continues, moments like this feel pinched right out of Christopher Nolan's back pocket and would sit perfectly in the Call of Duty mold. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 arrives in just 12 months from last year's Black Ops 6, the first time the veteran shooter franchise has gone back to the same well of Black Ops sub-brand for a second year running. Right turned around comes just as EA's revival Battlefield franchise makes its own big return, amping up the pressure on Activision's new shooter installment. Sheesh. Reviews are still far in progress, so at least seems more puzzling. So that is that. We're talking about Super Mario we're talking about Nintendo having Saudi Arabian investments, Saudi Arabian prince investments. And we're seeing Nintendo act different. They've been hanging out with a different person. So, you know, seeing how the big kids, i.e. Nintendo and Activision, are now treating their, let's call them cash cows, or let's call them stars, is interesting. It's also kind of frustrating because it really shows just how much they think about these things. And to not think about these things and to keep raising the price every year, i.e. Grand Theft Auto, I don't know why we're here. So, while Rockstar does have great quality assurance, I don't know if I can say that it won't be another shit show like Black Ops 7. Because time and time again, AAA has decided that they want to focus on the AI. They want to focus on whatever will save their money. And we've just recently heard about Rockstar's layoffs. So everything doesn't look great. And to top it all off, I don't want to celebrate that type of environment by launching a game that's going to sell blockbuster numbers and inspiring every freaking investor, you know, people who just care about the end goal money line, money go up, they go we, game come out shitty. It's going to give them the wrong message that their bets are on the right table. We are that stupid, and we will eat whatever slop they present to us. So, yeah, I'm a little upset. Let me know if you are too, because honestly, when Ubisoft released the Assassin's Creed movie, and that was dog shit, I thought it couldn't get worse. But then Ubisoft says AI-generated anno art slipped through its review processes. This is by Ethan Gotch over at Kotaku. Anno 117 Pax Roma takes the franchise city building formula back to the ancient empire, but used generative AI tools in the development process. Fans have already begun ripping into one particularly egregious looking piece of AI-generated imagery that appears to be in the background during the loading screen. Quote, very big difference between this and the high quality background art and the loading screens of Anno 1800, one fan wrote. Ubisoft tells Kotaku will be replacing the ending image in an upcoming patch. The loading screen art that fans have spent most time picking over shows a banquet in Roman place with dozens of people walking, chatting, and lounging around. Stir from one or two more than usual, and you can start to see weird incongruities and errors that have become familiar hallmarks of AI-generated images. Some faces in the background are disfigured or smeared. Joints and torsos don't always match up, and straight lines appear out of nowhere. This part right here. Anno 117 Pax Roma is the first Ubisoft game to appear on Steam with an AI disclaimer. AI tools were used to help create some of the game's assets. It reads, in all such cases, the final product reflects our team's craft and creative finish. Fans have been sharing other examples of teams crafting and creative visions, including Roma's debating politics with no heads. Ubisoft has since put out a statement about the banquet image. Quote, this image was a placeholder as it intentionally slipped through a refit process. The final image is attached here and replace the current version of the software with the upcoming 1.3 patch. And the 117 Pax Roma being the most ambitious and yet, based on a larger team of artists efforts franchise to help meet the project's unique scope. They use AI tools for iteration, prototyping, and exploration. Every element players will experience with the final game reflects team craft, expertise, and creative visions. Here's the new image. They still didn't fix these. Players are calling it an improvement, but the shadow cast by AI usage more broadly remains. Even the team behind the game, Ubisoft may instead intend for any AI artifacts to be visible in a finished game. It is now clear that at least some of the background art was composed with AI tools. Where does the human concept? Where is the human tool? you go. Where does the oh, damn it. Yeah. Where does a human concept art begin and a slot machine end? It's a shame since I don't know otherwise getting great reviews. The use of a slot for the artwork is really disappointing for a series that's always had beautiful art. Right, it's one user on Steam. Cool. There's so many low quality, obviously low AI generated images without any touching up at all. I don't mind the use of AI as a creative tool, but it should never be the finished output in a $90 gold edition game. Hire real artist. It's time. That's fine. It's bright and wine. Yeah, you want sing a song. I'm not giving a fuck tonight. It's mine. I'll take my time. Yeah, it's a good song. It's about a cat. So that's where we're at. Ooh. Halted trading of its stock. Damn, son. At the end of the day, oh, I see the hand. At the end of the day, Ubisoft has burned all its goodwill. Really, when you think about the artwork for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which I presume is the peak of art, finesse, the revolution, the Renaissance, and you just see the landscape, and you just see the city, you see the civilians, and it feels immersive, like inviting. The art from Assassin's Creed is some of my favorite art, at least growing up and back in those days. And you're telling me that a game based on Rome in 117, lovely number by the way, it's my mother's birthday, in 117 doesn't deserve the right to have like beautiful art? You know what I mean? It's rude. It's rude. So yeah, that's where we're at with the state of AI and technology. And again, it could be like beautiful, or we can like not know how to use it. And let's see who else is up on the chopping board, because Disney Plus will soon feature AI generated user content. Sheesh. Quote, most significant changes since we launched the service. Wow, that's kind of sad. It's by Tom Phillips over at the IGNs. Bob Iger said the company's streaming service will soon allow subscribers to create a view AI generated content. During the ceremony's latest earnings call, Iger said Disney would make a change to host user generated content for the first time. And except it looks like to open floodgates for fans keen to make their own creations featuring the likes of Darth Vader, Iron Man, and characters from Frozen. Quote, we're in the midst of rolling out the biggest, most significant changes from a product perspective. From a technology perspective, since we launched the service in 2019. While the exact details are still being announced, Iger suggests Disney Plus subscribers to be able to generate and share content, including short-form videos, that it was currently having, quote, productive conversations with AI companies to balance user freedom and the need to protect the IP. The other thing that we're really excited about is that AI is going to give us the ability to provide users of Disney Plus a much more engaged experience, including the ability for them to create user-generated content, to consume user-generated content, mostly short-form, from others, Iger continued. Only last month, the launch of OpenAI Source 2's AI saw a flood AI version of Disney's characters, Pokemon, and other licensed properties, and so the platform began clamping down with copyright infringement materials. Popular videos included examples of Mario, Pikachu, in X-Wings, or holding lightsabers, something that was likely raised an eyebrow at Nintendo and Disney. Hear that? But while Nintendo has warned it will take necessary actions against infringement and our intellectual property rights, Disney appears to let fans create their own videos with Anna and Elsa, as long as they're officially licensed and said fans are paying Disney Plus subscribers. In September, the famously litigious Pokemon Company formally responded to the use of Pokemon TV hero Ash Ketchum in the series, theme tuned by the Department of Homeland Security. As part of the video showing people being arrested and handcuffed by law enforcement agents, quote, our company was not involved in the creation or distribution of this content. A spokesperson told IGN, and permission was not granted to use of our intellectual property. Other changes coming to Disney Plus include a number of game-like features, I suggested. Without explaining further, Disney previously signed a $1.5 billion deal with Fortnite maker Epic Games that will see a major new Disney mode added into the game and will likely allow creators to begin building their own games using Disney assets. Jesus. That's a thing. So if you didn't know, the future of AI is our future. Man, I mean, who is this for? I guess it's a question that that I have. Cause look, I'm all for people having creativeness and combining characters and I think about the weird YouTube videos my nephews used to watch when they were younger. But you give the power to the people. I guess as long as they can't go too far and make like super sketchy things, and you're okay with it, and you allow the young ones to have this kind of freedom. But again, you don't know what's getting made out there, and just the idea of making the AI generated content, I think is fine in itself. It's just weird. It's weird because I don't know if they're using that to like make their future movies or to make, they're obviously gonna profit off of this. The question is how, aside from our information and our brain power, I guess. So that's something that tickles me in a weird way. But if there's an outlet for creativity, who am I to say no bueno, As long as it's all good, and I guess people are having fun with it and like smiling from it, then maybe it's not so bad. But this Fortnite thing, sheesh. This Fortnite thing, y'all gonna have to chill out, dog. Y'all gonna have to chill out, man. I need a new job. Because Activision responds to Call of Duty Ops 7's AI-generated artwork. Damn, boy. This is by Zach Swain over at Kotaku. If you thought we were done with the AI slop, stop me now. Stop me if you heard this one. Latest Call of Duty game seems to contain AI-generated art that doesn't look very good, and people aren't happy about it. This time, it's a newly released Black Ops 7. On November 14th, 7 launched across consoles, and within a few hours, players online were sharing screenshots of artwork within a game that they believe is AI-generated slop. And it's not hard to agree. I don't get it. Looking at some of this artwork, including gameplay or banners, I noticed that telltale signs of the AI imagery, including at least one cartoon character that appears to have 6 fingers. Nice. Eyelines also don't match up. Some objects seem vaguely defined, and almost all of it just looks really bland. Keep in mind, these are rewards you get for completing challenges, which makes it even more depressing. Gee, thanks, some machine vomited art. Okay. In-game calling card in Black Ops 7 is like rock generated. Other players have shared screenshots of what looks like AI generated artwork within Black Ops 7's campaign, with this year's online-only design around multiplayer. Of course, we can't know which pieces of art in the latest Call of Duty were created by humans, which were generated by machine, and which are a combo with humans touching up crappy generated imagery. But we do know for a fact that Black Ops 7 has AI art in it, and as confirmed by the game's Steam store page, quote, "Our team uses generative AI tools to help develop some in-game assets." This is the same disclaimer found on Black Ops 6's store page, which was added in February. Cool. Like so many around the world, we use a variety of digital tools, including AI tools, empowered to support our teams to create the best gaming experience possible. Shut up. Creative process continues to be led by talented leaders in our studios. Black Ops 7 and 6 both use AI art. Sounds familiar because it's similar to what Activision and Treyarch said about Black Ops 6 earlier this year, following months of players accusing devs of using AI slop. In an interview with IGN this August, Treyarch Associates creative director Miles Leslie talked about using AI in Black Ops 7. The developer claimed that everything that goes into the game is touched by the team 100%, but did admit that the AI tools are used to help, as well as why some clearly AI generated art that was seemingly not fixed by human slipped into Black Ops 6. Leslie told IGN that it was a, quote, accident. Now, it's never the intention, said Leslie. We come out and very clear that we use these tools to help the team. They do not replace any of the fantastic team members that we have that are doing the final touches and building the content we put in the game. So everything you play, human created and touched AI tools in the world we live in. That's how we do. It's how do we streamline it. That's really the goal. Not to replace, but streamline. And with players discovering bland AI generated images in Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and Activision openly confirming it and embracing it, it seems this is just how it works now, I guess. And I guess is right. Guess is the right word, man, because it's, again, it gives a message to the investors when teams start firing their people, and then out of nowhere you start getting these quote-unquote fixes. Oh yeah, that's 4 and then 1 more. And you get these fixes. And like, again, you could use this, right? You could hypothetically make a video game with this guy and like get over it and, you know, like live your life and all that. And I wouldn't care per se. You made something. It was AI powered. It was powered by AI, but you made something, and that was kind of creative, and you deserve to like explore that more on your own free time. But we're talking about Call of Duty. We're talking about Activision. We're talking about Microsoft. We're talking about Nintendo. We're talking about corporations who have been doing this for generations, console generations. And now all of a sudden, we can't do the job anymore. With better technology, with more expensive prices, with digital downloads, which were supposed to make everything more affordable, we somehow have shittier games in 2025. And maybe not shittier in terms of like graphics or whatever, so like whatever they're shooting for. But if you're not making a title to be enjoyed, like just enjoyed, even by a single player, man, like enjoyed, you have to put down 4 C4s because you couldn't edit out that part for a single player, or you couldn't add co-op AI bots, like, you know, the thing you're supposed to be using AI for, you know, aside from like teaching them how to kill us, you know what I mean? But it's strange. It's very depressing, at least from a point of like, what are we investing in? What are we, the gamers, investing in? If only the investors are making money off of this shit. And they're only making money off of it because we keep on buying it. So yes, I guess is the right statement. Because I didn't buy this game. I'd assume a couple of my mates might have picked it up. But I know specifically that they picked the Black Ops 6. Yeah, Black Ops 6. So that's a thing. Sorry, not Black Ops. Battlefront 6. Sorry. So that's something that tells me that instead of this game, they went to that game. Which, again, if we're voting with our wallets, then, you know, democracy. But this, coming from a $70 game, like standard edition, this can't be it. I was like flipping through the PlayStation Store recently, and yeah, how did it take me about a year in to realize that $69.99 is now the standard price for a AAA video game? They're literally fucking us over and laughing at it. So vote with your wallet, you know? Pay for what you like, enjoy it while it lasts, but have some self-respect. Real talk. They don't deserve it. That's it. Just like someone didn't deserve, North America doesn't deserve Corpse Party. That's right. Because Xseed Games cancels release of Corpse Party Tetralogy Pack. This is by Crystal Hodgins over at Anime News Network. Announced on Friday that cancels the release of Mage's Corpse Party Tetra Pack games collection for Nintendo Switch. Both the physical release and digital offerings of previously unreleased Corpse Party games featured in the Tetralogy Pack. The company stated, Though we previously released entries of Corpse Party series on the console platforms and digital storefronts in the West, we were informed that the contents of several games in the Tetralogy Pack did not comply with current platform guidelines. XSEED apologized to the fans and stated it, quote, remains committed to be working with mages to bring Corpse Party 2 Darkness Distortion, which was not part of the Corpse Party Tetralogy Pack, to the West. The company stated it will share more details on the release when it's able. Marvelous Europe has previously announced that it will release a collection in Europe and has yet to post any updates regarding its planned launch. They have reached out to Marvelous Europe and their updated article have received response. XSEED has stated in October they ran into, quote, unanticipated complication with release, which would prevent its release for Switch in the Americas. The company at the time halted physical pre-orders. The company announced on August 25th the Switch collections released in the West for 2025. The Trilogy Pack collection launched in Japan on August 7th. Digital versions for all 4 games on the Japanese Nintendo Store state. All 4 games have English support. The collection includes the Corpse Party Book of Shadows, Corpse Party Sachiko's Hysteric Birthday Bash, and Corpse Party Blood Drive games. Limited edition in Japan includes a Blu-ray disc for Corpse Party Sword of Souls, the original video animation series inspired by the game. Mages delayed the global release of Corpse Party 2, Darkness Distortion, and Grease sequel to Corpse Party horror game. Switch PlayStation 4 and Steam 2026 to further improve the game's quality, and company revealed a version of PlayStation 5 in the same announcement. Game was originally delayed from fall 2024 to 2025. Game franchise by 2 live-action films, first opened in Japan in August 2015, second in July 2016. Franchise also inspired 2 OVAs and multiple manga series. So this is interesting because we all know Corpse Party, or is Corpse Party like a last generation thing? It's curious because there's a fine line to what is accepted / normal and to what certain people are saying, no, this shouldn't be normal. Now, obviously, you know, you might look at this and be like, well, things are different, and maybe we don't want that in the Americas or whatever. But from what I understood, Nintendo was the one company that was like, hey man, a game's a game. If it's good to go, it's really good to go. And you know, they didn't do the censorship. So yeah, again, investors investing in investments, and America being America, maybe just kind of pulling some weird switch and saying no mas to high school people. Maybe that's it. Maybe we're officially putting the ban hammer on anything that's high school related. Yeah, at least in the Americas. And, you know, maybe that's a good thing, quote unquote. Maybe that's a weird thing. But like, where is the line? How long do we keep this up? And it's, who is the one that's being like, yo, we can't do people, high schoolers dying no more? Because I'm pretty sure that was the plot for Screen last time I checked. So again, it's like, I don't know, pot calling a kettle black or something. Now, personally, this would have been fun to look into. I probably would have picked it up and had it on the Switch ready to go. But now understanding that's not going to be a thing for the Americas is really disappointing. Especially when I feel Corpse Party deserves a second go at being relevant. And if this was it, and then the Americas are going like, nah, we can't do this stuff anymore. That's interesting. That is very interesting. A little disappointing and shocking, but like, we'll see again where this line lies, because that's where things get tricky. I miss Assassination Classroom. Maybe not in high school. Alrighty, but here's something nobody missed. Against all odds, Concord is playable again. This is by Kenneth Shepard over at Kotaku. Concord Shark Tank was one of the high-profile failures in video games, but all of entertainment last year. Sony pulled the plug on its Guardians of the Galaxy shooter days after PS5 and PC launch failed to bring in players. and then subsequently shut down its developer, Firewalk Studios. It was a highly publicized mess of mismanagement and callous corpus callous, and it was also a damn shame because the game was actually pretty alright. Although the game seems lost to time, some fans have taken it up upon themselves to try to bring it back with fan-made servers. So if you wanted to see what all the fuss was about, you may have the chance. A group of fan modders have been working to rebuild Concord's backend and create new servers, thanks to the game post, and officially played a match of the game once through lost to time. Red, one of the modders leading the project alongside Rio, Open Wizard, and Guag, posted an update on Discord letting folks know the group had managed to play a match, though there's still a lot of bugs and iron out before they're ready to open up to more players. Quote, after a long time of reverse engineering server development, we've managed to play a match of Concord. This is the match I played with Open Wizard. Though my horrible aim, I spent so much time reverse engineering I no longer have the time to actually play games. The project is still a work in progress, it's playable, but it's buggy. Our servers are fully set up, we'll be doing some private playtesting. If anyone here wants to join those playtests, let us know. We'll share time you're in for convenience. Still consider Concord's quote. End quote. I still consider Concord's fate to be a consequence of Sony's terrible fumbling of its ill-advised live service pivots, but it's always a bad thing when gamers are wiped from existence by their owners. A lot of people worked hard on Concord and it deserves the dignity of being playable, even if Sony isn't supporting it. So shout out to the fans for picking up the torch. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Because it's crazy to think about how a freaking conglomerate could come around and be like, yeah, we're gonna be the next Fortnite, and just shit, or Overwatch, I guess this is a direct comparison to Overwatch, and just shit out this product and just be like, no, nobody likes this, and just decide to take your ball home. Like, I understand why, but it's still just a stupid, shitty ass fucking thing to do, period. Because I'm pretty sure all those people got fired. I'm pretty sure they lost a shitload of money buying that studio. And I'm pretty sure they killed Gravity Rush number 3 for something as stupid as this. But all that to top it off, to just be able to be like, nobody deserves to play this game. And then they just delete it. I'm thinking about the future and I'm thinking about history as people will talk about Concord. And the younger generation will be like, no, that's not real. It didn't happen. But the people who were there, right? The people who were there were like, no, that game came out and those fuckers like wasted everybody's time and they fired everybody. And we're just like it never happened. And that's the important part. That when good men stay quiet, good, capable men stay quiet, evil manifest. No, it's the idea that, yeah, they think they can just erase this and like be ashamed of their son or whatever and like destroy it and hide it and nobody will be any the wiser. But no, people lost their jobs. We lost inspiration in our consoles, in our titles, right? And even if you've messed it up, it still deserves to exist. Why this happened the way it did, and just the idea that they were able to delete the whole existence and pretend like it never happened, it just will never leave my mind. It's shocking to me. But it's freaking cool that there is still people out there in the universe that go like, nah, dude, like this happened, and we're gonna make sure the people know about it. So to you, the rebels, the dreamers, the streamer, I say Godspeed. Long live the Concord. We already did this one. Thank you. CJ because Valve still dreaming of the stream, baby. The GameCube is real. Valve announces next-gen stream machine. Says it's over 6 times more powerful than Steam Deck, but there's no price yet. It's by Yesli Yin Pool over at IGN. Valve has announced a return to its Steam Machine PC console hybrid hardware alongside its new version of the Steam controller. As part of the big day for Valve hardware announcements, Valve confirmed the next Steam Machine and Steam controllers features and specs, but failed to announce one key piece of information: price. We do know, however, that the Steam Machine comes with a 512GB model and a 2TB model. and will ship in a bundle with Steam controller as well as a standalone at some point in 2026. Spec-wise, it has a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 12 CPU, terabyte CPU, a semi-custom AMD RND 3 GPU, supports 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR. Valve described the new Steam machine as 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck, with 16GB DDR and 8GB GDR VRAM. The full specs of the Steam machine and the Steam controller are below. It's an interesting move from Valve, considering the original Steam machine range, released 10 years ago in November 2015, was considered a failure. The initial idea was to release a small form factor gaming computer that operated SteamOS and offered a home game console-like experience. Valve also released a Steam controller to support the release of the Steam machine, so it makes sense that it would release a next-gen Steam controller to go alongside a new Steam machine. But the Steam machine didn't last long as the interest dwindled. Steam pulled many models from the Steam store in 2018. The next-gen Steam machine does not have a release date or price, both of which keeps piece of information Valve has keeping under wraps for now, but an intriguing move in context is increased focus on console PC hybrid various hardware companies. Microsoft, for example, is set to release a next-gen Xbox that by all accounts is basically a PC wearing a console's clothing. It will be interesting to see how Valve entering the frame mixes things up. Here's a comment from Boss Gabe Newell. Quote, "We've been super happy with the success of Stream Deck, and PC gamers have continued to ask for more ways to play all the great titles of their Steam libraries. Our work over at the years and the hardware, even more importantly SteamOS, have enabled Steam Controller, Steam Machine, and Steam Frame to do just that. Got plenty more things on Valve's hardware announcements made today, November 12th, a handy roundup, so don't miss a thing. Visited Valve's office ahead of the Rio to go hands-on with the Steam Machine and Steam Controller, and interview Valve to see why it's returned to the space. Wondering about Steam Deck 2? We also asked Valve about that as well. Specs, features. Very nice. These. Is that a hamburger? Wow. All these. Unfortunately, they didn't mention the thing that I'm most excited about, so we're gonna have to spelunk for it. But yes, it is through. I'm looking for the thingy-majiggy. This guy. Yosh. Steam Frame preview, hands down. Vibes of the 2020 video controller. And that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of talking. But this, we'll give you the TLDR real quick. Nope. This guy. Finally, we have Valve has an next-gen release in the works. Steam Frame follows on Valve's index with a crucial new feature. Quote, not the gorillas. They get me copyrighted. You don't need to hook it up to a PC for it to work. Find out what we think of it and exclude Steam Frame. Anybody wondering where Steam to what the heck? Anyways, yeah, you don't have to hook it up. It's cool. It looks good. Okay. This is a big one. I'm gonna walk us back a bit. Steam making a second comeback in the console space. I remember I was there when they released the original Steam box, and this original Steam controller had the big ass circles, and there was an interest in it. And honestly, I thought it would take off. I really did. Hi, welcome aboard. Thank you. And I really thought it would take off, but it just home consoles was still the big thing. And maybe that was my fault because I was there buying PS4s, PS4 Pro, and all the bullshit that came with it. And that made PlayStation edge out in that generation, leading into the PS5 to where we are currently, 2015 to 2025. Good Lord, it's been 10 years, 2 generations. So to just think about how much things change in that time frame. And now we're at a point where, honestly, again, leaning back on AAA developers, there is not much confidence in what they're creating. If the games themselves aren't worth the time, then why would anyone be excited about the console? And you might be arguing, I might even argue to myself that, like, nah, dog, that's technology right there. I want to see this new console. But in just this year alone, I have a PC that can run, like, quote unquote, not state of the art, but state of the art specs currently. In a few weeks, it won't be state of the art anymore, but specs. And I don't think something like this appeals to me per se, but still, it puts me in the space of the Steam platform, and it pulls me away from the PS5 platform. It's been interesting to kind of see myself drift away from the console. Although I like the TV, although I like the home console and the ease of it, I do look at my PC and I think, well, that's the way to go if we really want to know what something runs, or like if what the technology really is. Because time and time again, like something like the AAA titles that we've been getting recently aren't really enough to like sell the console on its own. And I honestly don't know how much longer that's going to be a thing. It feels like if that's the new normal, then I don't see myself buying a PS6, at least on launch day. And that single implication where it used to be like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, I'll get that console. Like I know myself and I know enough to be like, I'll be there because I like the specs, is now me going, well, I have the PC, so I don't necessarily want the new console. In fact, if I had a choice, I'd rather upgrade the graphics card and call it a day. So that's already more of an incentive for me to stay away from a console environment. And how that's gonna affect Sony if like it does become a thing where less and less people go console, because I don't know, I feel like consoles have a bad rap now these days, which is a bummer, but you reap what you've sowed. And not being able to count on PlayStation and Nintendo understanding that they're just being fueled by like sadistic, greedy, money-hungry perverts is enough for me to just be like, well, we need some space. And I'm going to be hanging out in the PC area, Steam machine, for a bit. So I really hope things work out. I really hope things come back around. But again, everyone getting all fucking like excited and creaming their pants about GTA 5 releasing and like bringing this influx of money doesn't care about the video game space. They're just in it to make a profit. And that's what bothers me. So I'm looking forward to this, actually, though. Honestly, this feels like the Sword Art Online tool. And I really think that Gabe Newell saw the Sword Art Online and was like, you know what? We got this. And I think this is it. So I'm really excited to see how this actual thing inspires more VR works to be made. And and it's interesting to see like what developers think. You know, if AAA doesn't want to focus on VR, or they don't have enough time, or they don't see the value in it, then I think we'll start to see AA and indies start to make their own VR moves. And honestly, you can probably quote me on this, but I can see, oh, never mind, because that's not Epic Games. But honestly, I can see something like this inspiring Fortnite VR, and that's kind of where we're at with that one. So, looking forward to all this. I definitely will keep my eye on the Steam frame. I really hope it's as good as it sounds. I would love to start playing games in virtual space and not have to have all these cables everywhere. But all that, very exciting, and in the future. But hey, it's been a good time. And although we're still kind of figuring out where we're going with all this AI tone and stuff, I do believe that it's gonna have to happen. Some of the worst, or some of the unfortunate truths I've come to believe is that sometimes some people just have to do shit themselves and understand the consequences, and not to like be rude about it or whatever, to actually feel the actions and what comes from that, and that only really happens when you do things on your own. So these people, be them as they may, are gonna have to do this, and unfortunately we can't quote unquote stop them, but obviously I don't think we have to support them either. So that's kind of where the universe stands in my book. And we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Stay safe. Have fun. Take care. Be nice. I think that's the end of the day. That's the best thing you can do. Mushrooms were on me. Yeah. Because I don't even know if you know anymore. I think we got this. In case y'all didn't know. Try to learn things on the fly. These for fun. Oh, skip it. Late night, I'm driving. Let these headlights kiss the road. Silent moonlight falls on dash. Now we're leaving city lights behind. Do you feel right tonight? Say what you want me to say. What you need me to do with you. Take what you need in the tank. What you you choose. Misty exit, getting lost between the lines. Oh, imagine taking a time. I'm got nothing else I'd rather do. Taking the view of you. What you want me to say, what you need me to do for you. Take what you need me to take, what you need me to do. You choose. Say what you want me to say, what you need me to do. You choose. Say what you need me to take, what you need me to know. You choose. Oh, bueno. Yeah, man. You ever heard of a band called Mustard? Yeah. I respect that. Well, let's see if these guys respect the copyright claim. I think they got salty me last time. We'll find out. Ikuyo. Shake me down. Not a lot of people left around. Who knows now? Softly laying on the ground. Oh. Not a lot of people left around. No. In my life, have I seen people walk into the sea just to find memories, bonds of misery, ties cast down, fixed upon the ground, eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Shake me down. Cut my hair on the silver cloud, broken sound, softly laying on the ground. Not all the people left around, no. In my past, bittersweet, but no love between the sheets. Taste the blood, broken dreams, allergic dreams indeed. Eyes cast down, fixed upon the ground, eyes cast down. I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Don't let them feel let go. Lampshade turned down to a pole. Lampshade turned around into a light bulb. Walk around the corner, never saw it coming. Still I try to make a move, almost stopped me from early. I don't want to know the future, I'm rolling thunder. Even on a cloudy day, 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 even I'll keep my eyes fixed on the, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the, I'll keep my eyes fixed on the sun. Shake me down, not other people left around. Oh, oh. Yosh. So kinda. And because everything is on the fly, nothing makes sense. But it's been fun. And I hope you had fun. And I hope you take care. And enjoy. And how much can I expect to tolerate? So I start to think of plans that I made that unpaid. And you can't tell, it's paid, that's paid. I watched the moon, let it run my mood. Can't stop thinking of you. I watch you, so nice not to know I'll be moving on soon. We started off in place to place, we were talking the same language. I'm open and I'm closing. You can't stand the thought of it being hard, being having trouble. Only and admit that I am hope. Let it run my mood and stop thinking of you. I want you, so nice to know you. I'll be moving on, moving soon. It's truth that I can tell you. Yeah, I know the truth. I know the truth, but I can't say to you. Yeah, I know the truth. I never thought we'd see it through. Could lie on, and a few times your face came into you. I'm not in It's the Fortnite brain rot. But hey, we all learned something. For that, I'm thankful. Thanks for watching. Ja. Matane. That's on it. It's the other one. Close enough.